Again, good afternoon, everyone. See, we will stop with the classes of geography history next week. आपका पूरा पेपर 4 खत्म हो जाएगा the ethics from next week continuously. Though we have separate teachers, ma'am bhi hai for ethics, but we want that you study from the topper of ethics. That is not just this year, and the person who is already in service, who is a senior IAS officer. So Swapnil sir will have to again join back his cadre, Madhya Pradesh cadre. So he is here till the month end because he is posted in Delhi right now, and he has been served as an SDM also, as an assistant collector also. So and he knows about the answer writing of ethics also. So आपका पूरा एक ethics का course will be done by the Swapnil sir from Tuesday onwards. So already he is finishing in that batch, and so it is his last class today in that batch, and he will come to your batch here. So and he's very good in ethics, it's better than anyone else. So we will stop the regular teachers को तो मैं तो कभी भी आ सकता हूँ. So the Jayesh sir भी आ जाते हैं. So over the period of time, but let us first finish with the Swapnil sir. So we will finish the entire theory, entire portion of ethics. जिसमें thinkers will be taken by ma'am. That is the जो political thinkers है, they will be model that will be taken by the madam. So इसे एक पोर्शन खत्म हो जाएगा आपका मेंस का, दैट इज द along with the case studies. $15 to $20 lectures, 15 lectures. हाँ तो ethics को ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगता. Case studies is more important. Case studies will take around 8 lectures. 8 lectures into 2.5. He's not like me कि 15 मिनट लेट आएगा. He comes exactly on time and he leaves exactly on time. So नहीं कि मैं हर क्लास में से 10 मिनट खा जाता हूँ. So it's not like me. So we were doing the karst topography, and I gave you an idea of what the karst topography is. That is, it has holes on the top. What are these holes known as? These are known as sinkholes. After that, we have the sinkholes. When they become bigger, they are known as dolines. When the dolines become bigger, they are known as uvalas, and very large uvalas are known as polges. Generally, polges are caused due to rifting as well as the weathering and erosion of the rocks. ये है keyword what you have to remember. That is, a hole in the karst topography which is formed due to dissolution of the calcium carbonate as well as rifting is known as what? It is known as an polge. Then when the water goes inside, it will make holes, and we will call this as limestone caves. So the limestone caves are either known as stalactites and the stalagmites. There will be large amount of limestone caves which are formed in that region. So stalactites and the stalagmites inside the caves. What is stalactites? When the long projection are growing from the ceiling, it is known as stalactites. When there are projections which are growing from the ground, they are known as stalagmites. But with this, what is the entirely is a karst topography, the easiest of all the topography, or ये एक topography, especially the stalactites and the stalagmites which will come in the examination. कि what are this? सबसे difficult इसमें is the glacial landforms. We'll do that afterwards, after the fluvial landforms, because एक बार आपको fluvial समझ में आया, then you can apply it to the glacial. Remember, glacial is difficult because it requires imagination. Why it requires imagination? Because generally we have not seen glacial landforms in India unless you live in the Himalayas. And वो भी in the Lahul Spiti region, वो भी in the Kargil Dras region, not in Kashmir, not in the Srinagar valley. If you live in the Kargil Dras region, then you will be able to see what are known as the glacial landforms. And because such landforms are not found in India, the name are either French names, but उससे भी dangerous है German names, and German names are very difficult. So Berggrund, Rimae, Berggrund कुछ नहीं है, crack है, but हमें लगता है क्या होगा Berggrund. So this is what is a example. Ribbon lakes, finger lakes, drumlins, Roche mountains, crag and tail topography. So these are overview which we have to take about the glacial landforms. But the most common thing is this is what I am going to dictate you, is the characteristics of the karst topography. So एक point prelims के लिए important है, the characteristics of the karst region. So the first characteristics of the karst landform is found in the limestone and chalk rich regions. Found in the limestone and chalk rich regions. Chalk rich regions. Chalk is pure limestone, a kind of an pure limestone, जिसे used to write that chalk rich regions. The name karst topography, karst topography is derived from the karst region of Yugoslavia, the karst region of Yugoslavia, surrounding the Adriatic Sea. Surrounding the Adriatic Sea. First we will write the characteristics, we will see where is the Adriatic Sea later on. Surrounding the Adriatic Sea. Next, karst topography is extremely weak in the humid regions. It's extremely weak in the humid regions. You already know the reason. Calcium carbonate gets converted into carbonic acid, and इसलिए it is an extremely weak in the humid region. Next, absence of surface drainage. Absence of surface drainage is the chief characteristics of karst region. Absence of surface drainage is the chief characteristics of the karst region. Due to this, same point mein, due to this, many or most of the rivers flow underground. Most of the rivers flow underground. This underground rivers, when they come in contact with hard country rock, they come out, the water comes out in the form of springs. water comes out in the form of springs. ठीक है, अब understand what does this line mean. This line means because this is very weak rock, it will form uvala, it may form doline, it may form sinkhole और वो अंदर disappear होगा water, it may go in any direction, and but when it comes in the contact with the igneous rock or metamorphic rock where it cannot destroy, it will come out. और सपोज ये लैंडफॉर्म यहाँ पे खत्म हो रहा है, यहाँ से दिस कैन बी एनीथिंग, दिस कैन बी ए माउंटेन, दिस कैन बी अ विलेज एक्सेट्रा, यहाँ से पानी बाहर आएगा एंड यू विल कॉल दिस एज springs. I guess in Hindi springs means jharna. So Kashmir is famous for many springs. उसमें से I forgot the name of one spring. Anyone here from Kashmir? चश्मे-शाही, जहाँ से जवाहरलाल नेहरू के लिए स्पेशल पानी आता था, because it was very very clean water. So this is an basic idea. If you have gone to the Chashma-Shahi region or any of the spring, water is coming underground. अब क्यों water is coming underground? Because नीचे का rock है, which is a rock which cannot be eroded. It is non-porous, it is non-permeable. अगर यहाँ पे porous rock होता, this water would have gone still below. But it is non-porous, non-permeable rock and ऊपर karst है. That is why I took an example of the Vaishno Devi also yesterday. It is in one of the limestone rich regions of the India. दूसरा limestone rich regions of India is in the state of Meghalaya, where we find famous caves in the biosphere reserve. Over the period of time हम example में देखेंगे ये. So this is what is an example of an spring. So can I say springs are the characteristics of the karst regions? That springs will be found in the karst regions? Yes, springs will be found in the karst topography wala regions. Next. As the water flows underground, next point, as the water flows underground, it carves out various types of landforms, such as underground caves, pillars, etc. Underground caves, pillars, etc. Next point. The surface water disappears. Surface water disappears by forming the hole, and such hole is known as what? You have already done this. The such hole is known as an sinkhole. By forming holes, such holes is known as sinkholes. Sinkholes. Over the period of time, may enlarge to form a larger hole known as dolina. Form a larger hole known as dolina. Several dolinas may merge. To give rise to what? Uvalas. several dolinas may merge to give rise to uvala. A very large, a very large, generally elongated, a very large, generally elongated depression associated with rifting is known as palge, associated with the rifting is known as palge, See, because it is associated with rifting, we can see ये कैसा है, it is elongated as well as it is deep. बाकी के they are generally rounded. You want to draw this? Plural, singular, same है. So draw this also. This has been your past year mains question also, but I don't think so with the change in the syllabus ये अभी पूछेंगे, पूछा तो 5 मार्क के लिए पूछेंगे, अगर 10 मार्क के लिए पूछा तो मेक अ डायग्राम, अगर बना सकते हो तो, नहीं बनाया तो भी ठीक है. जनरली जब आप इतने डिफिकल्ट डायग्राम्स बनाते हैं तो एग्जामिनर को ऐसा लगता है चलो ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल वाला है. सो नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता. ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल या यू राइट अ वेरी गुड आंसर ऑफ वन सब्जेक्ट, टेक्निकली यू रेज द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ एग्जामिनर, एंड व्हेन यू रेज द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ एग्जामिनर, अगर दूसरा आंसर नहीं लिखा प्रॉपरली तो इट्स ऑल ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी. But these diagrams will help you in revision. May, April, May, this will help you in revision. जल्दी जल्दी रिवाइज हो जाएंगे, आप डायग्राम्स देख के खुद को समझ जाओगे, यस आई नो दिस, तो पढ़ने की ज़रूरत नहीं. बस अभी तो सिर्फ ज्योग्राफी है, फिर सारे सब्जेक्ट्स आ जाएंगे, इंडिया ईयर बुक आ जाएगा, इकोनॉमिक्स सर्वे आएगा. सो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे होता है, किसने कहा नहीं होता, करने वाले तो करते हैं, बट इंडिया ईयर बुक करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती. इकोनॉमिक सर्वे यू विल हैव टू डू, उसके सिवा तो मेंस निकलेगी ही नहीं. यू आर सेइंग इकोनॉमिक सर्वे नहीं हो पाता, विल ब्रिंग सम टॉपर की हाउ टू स्टडी, वो कहेगा 3 साल का इकोनॉमिक सर्वे करके जाना. पिछले साल का तो सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज पिछले साल के जो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ने आइडियाज़ दिए थे वो उसके ऊपर आपको अगले 2-3 साल क्वेश्चंस आएंगे. जैम ट्रिनिटी इस साल के इकोनॉमिक सर्वे में एक फेमिनाइजेशन ऑफ इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर और सन मेटा प्रेफरेंस है, वो कोई नई बात नहीं है, बट पिछले साल का इकोनॉमिक सर्वे वाज अमेजिंग. सो fine with this? नहीं नहीं, हम लिखेंगे, खत्म नहीं हुआ है हमारा. फाइन विद दिस? कैन आई कंटिन्यू? नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, limestone is a well jointed rock. Limestone is a well jointed rock. Due to the action of water, the joints in the limestone rocks will be enlarged. Joints in the limestone rocks will be enlarged. Full stop. Why it will be enlarged? Look here, क्योंकि joints में से सबसे पहले water will start going, and thus we have seen chemical weathering, physical weathering. जैसे physical weathering occurs due to expansion and contraction, यहाँ पे chemical weathering is occurring. The joints will be enlarged, and hence the blocks are converted into rectangular shaped clients, separated by a gap which is known as grikes. It gets converted into clients and grikes. क्या है client? A flat rectangular block. Now, next time when you go to Vaishno Devi region or any of this region, देखना, you will feel कि ऐसे pavements है रास्ते पे, ऐसा लगेगा किसी ने टाइल्स लगाई है रॉक टाइप में जब आप चढ़ के जाते हो. आई हैव नॉट गॉन आफ्टर सिंस मेनी ईयर्स, सो आई डोंट नो रिसेंट क्या चेंजेस आया है, बट इनिशियली देयर वर सम मेनी ऑफ द ऐसे लगता था किसी ने लाइमस्टोन के टाइल्स लगाई है. लाइमस्टोन की टाइल्स नहीं लगाई है, दे हैव बीन नेचुरली फॉर्म्ड, कि ऐसे लगता है एज इफ देयर इज अ पेवमेंट. उसमें एक ऐसा क्लाइंट है, बीच में बड़ी गैप है, क्लाइंट है, बीच में बड़ी गैप है. सो इट हेल्प्स especially the animals to take a grip when they are climbing on such kind of an rock surface. So this is client and grikes. Flat rock जिसमें get converted into clients and grikes. Fine with this? This entire topography of clients and grikes, is known as limestone pavement. Is known as limestone pavement. Limestone pavement ऐसा लगता है फर्श है limestone की, and therefore it is known as an limestone pavement. Last point, presence of caves is another chief characteristics of limestone regions. Caves are formed, caves are formed, limestone regions. Caves are formed when large amount of limestone rock, when the large amount of limestone rock is dissolved, limestone rock is dissolved due to due to due to solvent action of water, due to the solvent action of water, due to the solvent action of water. As water dissolves the calcium carbonate, as water dissolves the calcium carbonate, it starts dripping or trickling. It starts trickling from the roof or ceiling, from the roof or ceiling of a cave. It starts trickling from the roof or ceiling of a cave. The calcium carbonate present, the calcium carbonate present in the water sticks to the ceiling, sticks to the ceiling. Calcium carbonate present in the water sticks to the ceiling, and over the period of time, gives rise to, underline these three words: long, sharp, and slender. Long, sharp and slender. क्यों होगा? They will be long, sharp and slender. Simple gravity. Gravity will be pulling them downwards, and therefore they will become longer. They will become sharper. पानी जब टपक रहा है, it will become sharper, and it will be much thinner as compared to the next structure which we are going to do. Long, sharp and slender projections known as stalactites. Known as stalactites. Fine with this? Next point. Some of the calcium carbonate dissolved with the water falls on the ground, full stop. Water gets evaporated, but the projections from the ground grow upwards. Projections from the ground grow upwards. This again 3 words. Short. How was this? Long. Short or stunted. It can be both. Rounded. How was this? Sharp. and thick. And thick. Projections are known as stalagmites. Are known as stalagmites. Are known as stalagmites. Sometimes the stalactites and the stalagmites, sometimes the stalactites and the stalagmites touch each other to form a limestone pillar. To form a limestone pillar. To form a limestone pillar. Form a limestone pillar. Fine with this? कौन सी विल है? हाँ, बाणगंगा रिवर है ना वहाँ से नीचे. ऊपर कैसे रहेगी? हमने यही लिखा ना कि अंडरग्राउंड ड्रेनेज होगा. लिखा क्या है? एक ज़माने में ऊपर बहती थी. नाउ इट हैज़ फॉर्म्ड अ वैली, इसलिए तो वो वैली है डीप साइड में, एंड इट इज़ नाउ अंडरग्राउंड. हाँ, तो ऊपर पानी तो रहेगा ही ना. रेनफॉल होगा, वाटर विल बी ड्रिपिंग धीरे धीरे. इफ़ यू सी दैट रिवर का ओरिजिन वो कहीं तो ऊपर से ही ओरिजिनेट हो रही है एंड देन वो डिसअपियर हो रही है ग्राउंड. सो इनिशियली दिस रीजन वाज फ्लैट, अब वो ऐसा हिली बन गया बिकॉज ऑफ दिस टोपोग्राफ. ऊपर से पानी टपक रहा है. हाँ, नीचे पानी टपक रहा है, पानी टपक के बह रहा है, बट द कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट इज नॉट फॉलिंग, सो इट इज ग्रोइंग ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. अगर स्टैलेक्टाइट्स एंड स्टैलेग्माइट्स घर पे बनाना है तो पेस्ट को डिजोल्व करो पानी में और बूंद बूंद टपकाओ. सो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम दैट विल grow as a stalactites and the stalagmites. But paste you will have to take is Colgate classic वाला paste. That is a pure calcium carbonate जो white color का है, not the gel based variety. So fine with this? अब इसका first example. First example is, we already know, that is the karst region of erstwhile Yugoslavia. जो once upon a time there was an Yugoslavia. So you can write this as an karst region of Yugoslavia. ना ना ज़रूरी नहीं है, but most of the times इसके नीचे ही होगा, because जहाँ से ऊपर से गिरेगा तो नीचे. Second example is the most famous Batu caves. Any idea which country? Malaysia. Batu caves, Malaysia. Batu caves of Malaysia. What is this Batu caves of Malaysia? That is, वहाँ पे you must have seen many times Malaysian tourism में भी, या there is a big केव, उसके सामने उससे भी बड़ी मूर्ति है ऑफ लॉर्ड मुरुगन और ऑफ लॉर्ड विष्णु. अ गोल्डन कलर की मूर्ति विच इज स्टैंडिंग, अ गोल्डन कलर का स्टैचू, एंड देन द स्टेयर्स आर गोइंग अपवर्ड्स. दैट इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ एन बाटू केव्स मलेशिया विच इज अ फेमस मुरुगन स्वामी टेम्पल. द बाटू केव्स ऑफ मलेशिया. थर्ड, नॉक्रेक पीक. Where is this? Or Nokrek Biosphere Reserve. Biosphere Reserve. Where it is? It is in Garo Hills of Meghalaya. It is in the Garo Hills of Meghalaya. Garo Hills of Meghalaya. Erstwhile, अभी यूगोस्लाविया है. So, current region बहुत सारी countries है. Yugoslavia is divided into how many countries? कितनी countries है Yugoslavia? 6 to 7 countries है ऐसे. हाँ. Balkan is different. Balkan थोड़े side में है उसका. Okay. Now, before we go, one Batu Cave, second Nokrek Peak or Nokrek Biosphere Reserve. So, यहाँ पे Biosphere Reserve नहीं, but why is this a Biosphere Reserve? Why anything becomes a biosphere reserve? If it has any important flora or fauna. So, any idea what is famous in the Batu Caves? Batu Caves is famous for only ape found in India, that is Hulok gibbon. Nokrek. Nokrek is famous for, जो biosphere reserve है, Nokrek is famous for Hulok gibbon. The only ape found in India. Nokrek Biosphere Reserve is famous for Hulok gibbon, the only ape found in India. Can you give me an examples of apes? Is monkey a ape? Is langur a ape? Is chimpanzee a ape? Orangutan? Gibbon? Yes. Gorilla? Yes. These are apes, जो हमारे पूर्वज. That is our first generation ancestor. Second generation के लिए we will have to go back to the monkeys, but our immediate ancestors are apes. So this apes, we do not have apes in India except for gibbon. And which gibbon it is? Hulok gibbon. Northeast में मिलता है, but the most important is the Nokrek region. It is even found in the Namdafa के आसपास. That is in Arunachal Pradesh. But this is Hulok gibbon. IUCN red list category. That is monkey. Oh, and why the name Hulok gibbon? The name is Hulok gibbon because the males and the females howl at different times. Males will howl in the morning, जोर से चिल्लाएंगे, and that is the time when people get up and start getting ready to go to work. Around 5 to 5:30, 6 o'clock, the females will howl very loudly, and that is the time when the people start coming back from the work. So that is why it is known as an Hulok gibbon. This is what is the living with the environment, or what is an part of sustainable development. That is your body cycle associated with the proper rhythm or the environmental rhythm. जो India या Asian countries में नहीं follow होता है, but it is not even done properly in USA, but it is done very properly in Europe. Europeans are very, very particular about the nature, about the environment, and about their health. Obesity is a problem in India, obesity is a problem in America, it is not a major problem in Europe, except for UK, because they are more nearer to the environment. So this is what we call as an sustainable development का एक तरीका. That's जो हम बाद में environment ecology में करेंगे as conservation reserves, community development, community forest, etc. Fine with this? Now open the map of Northeast. And you will find in the Garo Hills, be very specific, Garo Khasi Jaintia में specifically Garo Hills. And you will find there Nokrek. So remember the Nokrek is in the Garo Hills. Nokrek is in the Garo Hills. We have written this already. Okay, so mark this. Which is the region receiving highest rainfall in the world? Mahasundram, Cherrapunji. It is to the south of Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. कौन से स्टेट में है? मेघालय. It is to the south of which, that is Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. Specifically UPSC ने पूछा था south of what? Garo और Khasi और Jaintia. South of Khasi. You will see Mahasundram and Cherrapunji there. Remember Khasi के just नीचे है. मिला? Carry the atlas regularly to the class, geography class. So ऐसा नहीं है कि क्लाइमेटोलॉजी में मैं 5 दिन बोलूंगा एटलस मत खोलना, छठे दिन बोलूंगा आपको एटलस खोलो. सो कीप द एटलस रेडी विद द इन द क्लास. सो महासुंदरम इज जस्ट टू द साउथ नॉर्थ ऑफ चेरापुंजी, नॉर्थ के जस्ट. Mahasundram, the present day champion, you can say. Cherrapunji, ex-champion in the highest rainfall. Cherrapunji was the place which was considered the highest rainfall in the world. And Mahasundram is now, Cherrapunji has been displaced by Mahasundram. Kitna average annual rainfall hai in this region? 400 is Mumbai. 400 is the average annual rainfall of Mumbai. That is somewhere around 1100 to 1200 is Cherrapunji and 1300 के आसपास is the Mahasundram. Average annual rainfall. अगर आपको लग रहा है ये बहुत तेज बारिश है तो I am giving you one fact that दिल्ली का average annual rainfall is 70 centimeters. This is 70 centimeters. Okay. So 70. पिछले साल कम हुआ था, इस साल नॉर्मल है बारिश. About 250. Yes, Mumbai is, Western Ghats is tropical evergreen forest. They have a rain gauge जिसके ऊपर marking दिया रहता है. They keep it outside. Yes. Then come to the Mediterranean Sea region. Europe, Mediterranean Sea region. And this is one of the famous seas which you should know. कि कौन सा है? We have the Mediterranean Sea. Fine. So let us look at the Mediterranean Sea. When we do the Mediterranean Sea, suppose you are entering the Mediterranean Sea from the African part. So which is the strait you are going to cross? The Strait of Gibraltar. We are going to cross the Strait of Gibraltar. So I guess we have marked already the Strait of Gibraltar. So once you go inside the Strait of Gibraltar, you will see there are numerous islands in the Mediterranean Sea region. What are the name of these islands? So you should know the name of these islands as per the countries. So can I say सबसे पहले is the island of Spain? What is the name? Balearic Islands, which belong to the Spain. There are Balearic Islands which belong to Spain. This has been many times your past year question. That is, ये island किस country का है? Balearic इतना दे देंगे and country. Yeah, they will ask you even. The difficult question in 2012 was arrange the island from west to east. The Balearic Islands belong to the Spain. उसके बाद there is Corsica Island which belong to France. Very simple. See, it is in alphabetical order. सबसे पहले B, उसके बाद C. Corsica belongs to France. After that we have two islands. एक तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा important है which we have already studied, Sardinia and Sicily. Sardinia and Sicily, which belongs to Italy. Sardinia and Sicily, which belongs to Italy. Italy. Sicily belongs to Italy. Sicily is very famous island, olive oil. सेकेंड सिसिली के ऊपर, सिसिली इज द आइलैंड जहाँ से वर्ल्ड फेमस माफियाज निकले हैं, एंड देयरफॉर द गॉडफादर इज बेस्ड ऑन द सिसिली आइलैंड. सो एक ज़माने में द इटालियन माफिया यूज्ड टू रूल. टुडे Russian mafia and Chinese mafia are ruling the world. That is, there are mafias are basically from two countries, Russian mafia and the Chinese mafia. Russian mafia government supported, so because oil. So this is what is the Sardinia and Sicily. And Chinese mafia इतना ज़्यादा powerful नहीं है, Hollywood ने उसको ज़्यादा powerful बना दिया Chinese mafia. So if you look at the history, it is also not a good fact also कि China ने इतना बड़ा war before 1962 कभी जीता ही नहीं था. China was not that strong power. China was always defeated. We became the first country to be defeated by China. So the 62, then that gave the psychological boost to China. We can control. अगर उसमें भी वो defeat होता in 62 war, see how many long repercussions are there. Had China been defeated properly in the 62 war, तो आज China would not have been that much hegemonous or powerful nation. Now it knows कि it defeated one of the biggest neighbors, and बाकी किसका खतरा है? Pakistan? No. Bangladesh? No. So it has defeated one of the powerful neighbor, and then they started military modernization, the program. But India, when we consider Indian Ocean region, they are focusing on Indian Ocean region. So which is the biggest military threat? India. Sardinia and Sicily. So Sardinia and Sicily we have already done. यहाँ पे the famous mountain is Mount Etna. Mount Etna, Mount Stromboli थोड़े not exactly there, but थोड़ा ऊपर. Then we have here an island which is a disputed territory. What is the name of this island? It is Crete Island. Mila? It is a dispute between Crete, Greece and Cyprus. It is a Greece and Cyprus. Official dispute. Officially disputed between the Greece and Cyprus. Both of them claim that Crete Island. And last में we have the Asian country, जो वहाँ पे आपके atlas में black and white में दिया होगा, and the shape will be somewhat like this. And this is Cyprus. Because it is Asian country, that is why it is given in black and white. Mila Cyprus? At the tip, here is the Cyprus. The Cyprus. Getting it? Now what will be the most difficult question? The most difficult question will be arrange them from west to east, या east to west. So सिर्फ इतना याद रखना, this three are in the alphabetical order. Balearic, Spain. Corsica, France. नाम से ही पता लगता है, it is an example of an French island. Italy, Sicily. Sardinia, Italy. Fine with this? And then we have Crete and Cyprus. So Cyprus is an Asian country. या दूसरा क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, which of the following are the islands? They can give you any of the countries and they will ask you which of the islands are found in the Mediterranean Sea region. So remember this part. Now when you come to this part, यहाँ पे between Italy and this region you will find a famous sea which we have written, and that is Adriatic Sea. Just have a locational idea of where is the Adriatic Sea. And surrounding the Adriatic Sea, जो आज ये छोटी छोटी countries है, that was once upon a time a Yugoslavia. ये जो सारी छोटी countries है उसके बीच Adriatic Sea. मिला Adriatic Sea? That was once upon a time a Yugoslavia. Serbia, Montenegro, etc. All this region was नहीं, Hungary नहीं था. Pol science students will anyway do this. Even GS students will anyway do this. पिछले साल तो आपको इसके ऊपर essay भी था, relevance of NAM. So, who was the founder of NAM? Nehru, Tito and Nasser. So, Tito belonged to which country? Yugoslavia. So, Tito, General Tito belonged to Yugoslavia. So, this is what is the example of the countries surrounding. We have done already this, Turkey, then after that Syria. I guess we have done this. Lebanon, and Israel. As I have given you the shortcut also to remember the countries surround Asian countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea is SILT. Asian countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea is SILT. Other important countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea is, you can look in the political map, Spain. Mila Spain? After that, France. After that, Italy. And this country is Greece. This country is Greece. Remember only this much countries. You do not have to remember the smaller countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. Spain, France, Italy, Greece and then SILT. उसके नीचे will come to Egypt. African countries नहीं पूछेंगे वो. Yesterday's Hindu newspaper, Mount Olympus, Mount Blanc. So yesterday's Hindu newspaper has one mistake, that is the highest peak of Europe, they said, is Mount Blanc. It is not Mont Blanc, you already know it is Mount Elbrus. Mont Blanc is only the highest peak of Alps. Fine with this? If you, and Alps, do they go into Greece? Yes, Alps go into Greece. है कि नहीं एटलस आपके पास? Alps, do they go into Greece? देखो एटलस में. Yes, Alps go into Greece. What is the name of Alps in Greece? Pindus. The name of Alps in Greece is Pindus. And what is the highest peak of Pindus mountains? Very simple to remember. Everything is logical. Olympics started in which country? Greece. What is the name of that mount peak? Is Mount Olympus. Pindus mountains, Mount Olympus. जब पता है आपको हर साल without fail यहाँ से question आता ही है in prelims, so this thing should be by heart. It comes without, ऐसा नहीं कि इस साल Mediterranean Sea region से आया है तो अगले साल नहीं आएगा. What we have seen in last 6 years, each and every year we have a one question at least in the preliminary examination. So be prepared for this part. I told you in prelims, each and every mark matters. याद रखना, each and every mark matters in the preliminary examination, especially जब paper आता है difficult like this year's paper. Each and every mark will matter. कौन पास करेगा prelims is one who does not leave out easy portions. Passing and failing is not determined कि कितना difficult जो किसी को नहीं आता वो मुझे आना चाहिए, उससे passing and failing इतना ज़्यादा determine नहीं करता. Passing and failing उससे determine होता है अगर सबको आता है तो मुझे भी आना चाहिए. Remember this general rule. If everyone is doing this, general, सबको जो आता है वो आपको भी आना चाहिए. So ये easy questions है. If everyone, सबको means serious students को. If every serious student is doing this, तो you should also know it. डिफ़िकल्ट 5-6 क्वेश्चन जो इकोनॉमिक्स से 1-2 हाई फंडू क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, या पॉल साइंस का 1-2 आएगा, या आर्ट एंड कल्चर में जो कभी नाम नहीं सुना है वो अगर एक आपको आया तो उससे कोई ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. ऐसा नहीं है कि डिफ़िकल्ट क्वेश्चन के मार्क्स 5 है एंड जो इजी क्वेश्चन के मार्क्स 1 है. Each and every is same, 2 marks. So those, if everyone knows that part, you should know that part by heart. So that is why you should not focus in going beyond what cannot be achieved. Don't do silly mistakes in what can be achieved. And what is silly mistake? Silly mistake is nothing but lack of revision. अरे मुझे याद है, पढ़ा तो था पर मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा, शायद सी होगा, नहीं शायद ए होगा, फिर भगवान का नाम लेके सी या ए ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, या फिर छोड़ दोगे मैं बाद में एंड में करूंगा. एंड वो आता ही नहीं है बिकॉज लास्ट के 15 मिनट की बेल बच जाती है और फिर बिना सोचे आप सी मार्क कर देते हो जो पहले ही मार्क किया हुआ है. फिर घर पे आके अरे मैंने सोचा ही था इसका ए है पर मैंने मिस्टेक कर दी. दिस इज व्हाट इज द सिली मिस्टेक. एंड ऐसे 5-6 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. सो डोंट सी, इट इज ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी दैट 2 या 3 सिली मिस्टेक्स होंगी बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेशर. There is intense pressure in the examination, but you should not go it beyond 2 or 3 marks. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. And if you are planning to do state services, तो silly mistakes बिल्कुल नहीं होनी चाहिए because see, always analyze your competition. There are some people who are studying only for state services. I know some of my friends जिन्होंने IRS छोड़ा है SDM के लिए. I know some of my friends जिनका या some of my juniors जिनका biggest aim in life is तहसीलदार, because focus है उनका. तहसीलदार होके उनको ये भी पता है पोस्टिंग्स कहाँ पे लेनी है और कितने साल जॉब करना है. उनका everything is planned. So what are these people doing? These people are focusing only on the state services, and each and every state service is highly factual. उनको concepts कुछ नहीं पता होते, पर उनको पता है लक्ष्मीकांत में से फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ पे क्या लिखा है ऑन पेज 96, 102 पेज पे क्या लिखा है, ज्योग्राफी के एनसीईआरटी में क्या लिखा है, कौन से पेज पे क्या डायग्राम है. They never make mistakes in the examination. So that is why when SSC का this recruitment level went down and these people came towards UPSC, what we have seen in last 3-4 years, prelims ka cutoff goes high, mains ka cutoff is going down, because see, in factual data you cannot compete with people who are preparing for SSC exam. उनको रेपो रेट कितना है, कितने साल पहले कितना था, सब याद होता है. You will do analysis of that. उनको एनालिसिस समझ में नहीं आएगा, उनको फैक्चुअल डेटा पता होगा. UPPCS, what were the name of 4 people who lifted Gandhi ji? Maharashtra PCS. On which day was Chandrayaan launched? 21st September 2017, 22nd September 2017, 23rd September 2017, 24th September 2017. These are just the examples of PCS. See, Maharashtra PCS asked a question, at which age did Devanand died? 91, 92, 93, 94. So you cannot compete with that. So fluvial topography. Before I go to the fluvial topography, again, yesterday itself I am saying all this because 3-4 people की बहुत ज़्यादा factual कैसे याद रखे. What are the tricks? There are no tricks. It is simple that revise it again and again. जोर से बोलो 10 बार, लिखो, and the factual data याद हो जाएगा. बार बार रिवाइज करोगे तो factual data याद हो जाएगा. So there are no other, nothing else for remembering the factual data. When we come to the fluvial topography, so these are the topics we will be studying: mechanism of river erosion, how does the river erodes. Secondly, the stages of river erosion. Third, the landforms that are associated with the river erosion. Fourth, river rejuvenation. And fifth, river capture. So these are the this is the topics. I told you yesterday, prelims, both prelims and mains. So can I say the single most important agent anywhere in the world is river? Water. Fine. Water is the single most important agent. What is river? River is nothing but the surface flow of water. So we have come across two kinds of words: surface drainage and underground drainage. Yes, surface runoff. Surface runoff matlab the water that flows from the surface. And the biggest form of surface runoff is the river. छोटा फॉर्म ऑफ सरफेस रन ऑफ इज, आज बारिश हो रही है, जो पानी रास्ते से बह रहा है, साइड में हो रहा है, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ सरफेस रन ऑफ. एंड ऑल दिस इज कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग टू द ग्राउंड वाटर बजट ऑफ द अर्थ. जब सरफेस रन ऑफ कम होगा, देन देयर विल बी फिल्ट्रेशन ऑफ देन ग्राउंड वाटर. जब सरफेस रन ऑफ बहुत ज्यादा होगा, इट विल बी एट अ ग्रेट पेस, देन देयर विल बी सॉइल इरोशन एंड डिप्लीशन ऑफ द ग्राउंड वाटर. सो व्हाट यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड हियर इज, river, based on the speed and the volume, any kind of an landform, even the karst, even the glacial, any kind of an landform goes through the three stages of youth, mature and old age. Any landform goes through the three stages of youth, mature and old age. Youthful topography, mature topography and old age topography, it depends उसके ऊपर river की speed कितनी है. If the river का speed is greater, then the erosion capacity is greater because energy of a river is greater. So in your stage of life, जब आपके पास energy ज़्यादा है, what is your stage? Youthful stage. So any landform which has high energy and therefore high erosion capacity is youthful stage. So youthful stage में you remember what will dominate is erosion. Mature stage में both erosion and deposition somewhat tries to balance each other. So some sediments जो यहाँ से are brought from the youthful stage, which are brought by the river, are deposited, and some sediments are eroded. So यहाँ पे both erosion and deposition dominates, and actually यहाँ पे what we see is the transportation dominates. And in the old age, because the speed of a river is very, very less. Why the speed of a river is very less? Because river is flowing on the flat land. In the youthful stage, river is flowing in the Himalayas. In the mature stage, river is flowing in the western UP or some parts of eastern UP. In the old age, river enters Bihar, or river enters Bengal, or river enters Bangladesh. What is happening? The land is becoming very, very flat. And because the land is becoming very flat, the speed of a river decreases. As the speed of a river decreases, river starts changing uska direction. Simple है, अगर आपका focus waver हो गया, तो आप भटकना शुरू कर देते हो. So similarly, when the speed of a river decreases, river starts changing uska direction, and river starts meandering. When river starts meandering, it starts depositing many of the sediments, and this is therefore we say the old age में the work of a river is deposition. And this gives rise to different landforms. Youthful stage में V-shaped valleys, gorge, canyons, waterfalls, river capture. Mature stage में meanders, alluvial floods, flood plains of a river, natural levees. And old age में oxbow lakes, delta Then mains ka question from this topic, why the east flowing rivers form delta, why the west flowing rivers do not form a delta. That is, iske andar we are having many of the mains ka questions. Interlinking of the river, Q west east Himalayan rivers should be linked to the west flowing rivers, but interlinking of the rivers ke liye first we'll do the river system of India in Indian geography, and then we'll come to this part. So isme old age mein we have one typical mains ka question, what is known as an delta and the types of delta, etc. But before that, mechanism of river erosion. So when I go, can I say ki if this is our Great Plains, if this is our India and cross-sectional view of India, if this is river Ganga or any river, youthful stage, after that mature stage, and then बहुत ज़्यादा जब speed कम होगी and till the time it reaches Bihar, if you see when you do river Ganga, we'll say Son joins river Ganga in Patna, Ghaggar river joins near Patna, Kosi river joins near Patna. So obviously when such mighty rivers are coming and joining river Ganga is increasing in volume, but uska speed is decreasing. Speed is decreasing, therefore erosion capacity is decreasing. Can you go and see Alaknanda on the map? Can you see, don't go abhi. Can you spot Alaknanda on the map? Nahi, Alaknanda dikhegi nahi. Bhagirathi you cannot see on the map. But you start looking at river Ganga as a very, very thin line. If we look at the map of India, bigger map, though you can see that on the satellite also. So I am asking in the normal conditions. So when you see the river Ganga properly dikhegi nahi, but over the period of time, this is how the river Ganga will be shown thicker. Until the time it reaches here, it will become more and more broad. And this is how the journey of a river is till it ends into the sea. Why is this? Because it does not have a well-developed tributary system. Tributaries start joining and the river becomes very, very well developed here. When river ka speed decreases, the main river also starts dividing itself into the many branches, जिसको हम कहेंगे distributaries. River is joined by the tributaries, river ends उसका life by distributaries. Example, जिससे water is distributed into the sea. Example of river Ganga का distributary is Hooghly. दूसरा distributary is Meghna, जो name है river Ganga का in Bangladesh. River Brahmaputra का name is Jamuna. And when the Ganga and Jamuna join each other in Bangladesh, उसके बाद it becomes Padma. So this is an distributary वाला network. And देखो इसका application, because river Ganga here is shallow or very deep in Bangladesh or in West Bengal. क्या होगा? Just try to imagine. क्या होगा? Shallow or very deep? It will be very shallow. It will be very broad. So Kolkata is a port because river Ganga is very broad, but it cannot compete with Mumbai. It cannot compete with JNPT. It cannot compete with Visakhapatnam. It cannot compete with the Kochi. Why? क्योंकि हम पढ़ते हैं silting is the problem. Silting means river का silt या sediments are deposited here. Because river का why? Because it is located on the river. Silting is the problem, and because silting is the problem, after Britishers left Kolkata, urbanization जो natural है, it started happening on the western coast of India. Remember, Kolkata was once a capital of India till 1911. 1911 में Britishers decided to make Delhi as a capital. So which should have been the economic capital of India today? Kolkata. But what is the economic capital of India today? Mumbai. Why is this? एक तो reason है natural advantage of Mumbai. There are two natural advantages. It is located, it is a natural port जहाँ पे बड़े containers, big ships can enter. कोलकाता में big ships cannot enter. They have to wait for high tide and low tide. Otherwise वो अटक जाते हैं बीच में, silt में. Why? Because law of flotation says one part is on the top of water, but the ship का 9 parts are below the water. So जितना बड़ा जहाज उतना 9 parts are below the water, and therefore it faces the problem of silting. And second best thing about these ports on the western coast of India is they are nearer to the Suez Canal. There are nearer to the Suez Canal here. And then we have current affairs ka question that the Sagar Mala, what is the reason? And secondly, does India has container ports? Container ports, jahan pe big containers can come. India does not have a container port. There are two types of port. When I will do that as a part of transport and communication, then we will do. Container ports मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि container आ गया और निकाल दिया. Problem with Mumbai and Kandla is they are overloaded. They do not have new space. 80% of traffic comes to Mumbai, container traffic. So उसके बाद they don't have any space. You will understand the importance of Mumbai कि कोई भी IRS officer is not posted for more than 6 months on Mumbai on JNPT. 6 months हो जाए उसकी transfer की जाती है. But उसका एक बॉम्बे में flat हो जाता है in 6 months. So this is the importance of the JNPT का port. Now coming back to this part here, so coming back to this part here, this is because we have big deltas which are located here. And ये जो container ports वाला है, ये सब we are going to do it from Yojana and the economic survey. That is what topic which I am discussing here. We do not have to wait for Indian geography because this is what is economic survey. Sagarmala and uska importance. So whenever some newspaper comes on the container ports, on this you will have to do, because India ने अभी एक container port लिया है, that is in Sri Lanka, and that may fail. India had tried to make a container port Kochi, it has failed. Why it has failed, etc. One of the reason you will find it here. Why the eastern coast does not have natural ports? Because they are not very deep. And why they are not very deep? Because the rivers are making big deltas over here. So when we come to the mechanism of river erosion occurs by 3-4 processes. One process is solution. River is flowing. When the river is flowing, the rocks such as calcium carbonate, such as sodium chloride, salt, etc. gets dissolved in water and they flow along with the water. So you know that is a solution. Some of the bigger rocks jo hai, they do not float in the water, but the big rocks, if this is a river, some of the material of the river is dissolved in the water, smaller rocks obviously, but some of the bigger rocks are carried by the river along its bottom, boulders, very big rocks. So जैसे और ये कहाँ पे होगा? Obviously जहाँ पे the slope is steep. So when they carry these big rocks along the steep slope, the rocks will rub the slope. Because of rubbing, will the rocks become sharp? Continuously rub hoga to they will become sharp. They will erode the bottom of a river. These are very big rocks. See, to tell you an idea how the rocks can be big. If you are localite from Delhi, you must be knowing कि Delhi government ने एक signature bridge बनाने का project लिया था, which would remove the traffic from ISBT. It will divert all the traffic to from Wazirabad region or Ghaziabad. It was more like a London bridge. Usse bhi better. It would have been one of the best bridges. It should have been completed 3 years back. But now the government is saying it may be completed in this December. Now reason is why. Reason is, while constructing the bridge, they constructed the bridge from both the ends and then they came over Yamuna river. Yamuna was once upon a time very mighty river. It used to touch Connaught Place. It used to touch the Red Fort of Delhi. Aaj Yamuna is very, very far away from Delhi. When Yamuna was mighty river, it brought very big stones. So when the bridge was being constructed, Yamuna ke bottom pe they came across such a big stone कि India में कोई भी machines नहीं मिले उनको to drill that stone. That stone was so powerful and it is stuck below. We in India, in China, in France, in USA, there is not a single company which has such a powerful machine to break that stone. So that machines are manufactured only by Germany, and there are very few machines in the world. Because they are manufactured only by Germany, we requested German government to send that machine. And German government said it will take 3 years to send that machine to India. So this machine will come this year. It was supposed to come in April. Now it will be coming at the end of September. जैसे ही machine आएगा, they will break the rock. As soon as they break the rock, they just have to join the bridge. हाँ, that machine is टूटेगा. Because इससे भी बड़ा ये ही है. That Germany is very high scale in the engineering department. German engineering is at a different level. So डायनामाइट से अगर आप ब्रेक करोगे तो आसपास बस्तियां हैं, वजीराबाद, ISBT, ये सारा would have been. It is not possible to break by the dynamite. Delhi is so much populated. How can you break it by the dynamite? Dynamite is also not that powerful. That is a special kind of rock. In fact, Bhakt said that why that rock is there, because that was a rock where Krishna used to dance, and he killed the Sheshnag in that region, and that is what the Sheshnag ka body is there, and so don't break it. ये भी एक controversy हुई थी कि वो rock मत बनाओ, signature भी रहने दो, because that is nothing but a Sheshnag. So So this process of breaking of the rocks is what I showed is abrasion. Now understand here, if this is the rock, it is flowing down, it is rubbing. Rubbing के बाद कब round shape आता है? Rubbing के बाद तो हमेशा sharp pinnacle होता है. Use this. आप knife को धार कैसे लगाते हो? By rubbing it. So this part of the rock over the period of time will become very sharp, and because it becomes very sharp, it will still erode the valley floors. Now it will fix here and it will start becoming very sharp. And over the period of time, the mountainous region में इसलिए हम कहते हैं we have V-shaped valleys, that is known as gorges and canyons. Why? Because big rocks will rub and it will cut the valley floors to give rise to very deep but narrow V-shaped valleys. Why the valley will becoming narrow and narrow? Because as the rocks goes below, वो obviously erode होते जाएगा, it will keep on getting eroded, and thus one day it will get destroyed. So this is what is the V-shaped valleys. So that second mechanism is what is known as an abrasion. Don't write anything, I will dictate everything. So what is abrasion, what is solution? Are you getting the difference? Solution, when the rocks get dissolved in water and are carried. Abrasion, when the rocks will rub the valley floor or valley sides. I have shown you an example of a valley floor and just told you an example how bigger the rocks can be. Because that is associated, this rock of Yamuna was associated with Pleistocene glaciation. At the end of Pleistocene ice age, when water ka level increased, when the river became very big, it could bring large amount of rocks. The third is, water will come with great force, it will touch the valley sides, and if there are any loose rocks which are found here, suppose this is a rock which is very, very loose, it will strike this, it will enter through the gaps, and ये rocks को remove कर देगी. It is coming with great force, it is entering the gap, and फिर से पानी बाहर निकल रहा है तो उससे rock will become loose, and over the period of time the rock will go away. You call this as hydraulic action. So this is the third mechanism of river erosion, hydraulic action. And the fourth mechanism of river erosion is when the rocks which are being carried by the water, they rub against each other. When they rub against each other, they become very small and they fall down, what is known as an attrition. So these are the four processes of river erosion, or these are the four mechanisms of river erosion. Can I say solution as corrosion also? Yes, सड़ जाना या dissolve हो जाना, that is also known as corrosion. So you can take down mechanism of river erosion. Running water or river, running water or river is the single most important agent of erosion, is the single most important agent of erosion. Running water or river is the single most important agent of erosion, is the single most important agent of erosion. It is an universal agent. It is an universal agent. What do you mean by universal agent? सब जगह है. That is, whether it is glacier, glacier will melt, river will be there. Rivers already humid regions में होगा. Deserts में बारिश अगर होगी तो river will be the agent of erosion. Deserts में बारिश होती है कि नहीं? Yes. Last year there was floods in Gujarat and Rajasthan. So it is an universal agent. That means, which means river is present, river action is present, river action is present in fluvial topography, fluvial topography, fluvial topography, comma, glacial topography, glacial topography, and third, desert topography, and third, desert topography. Mechanism of river erosion. Mechanism of river erosion. First mechanism is solution or corrosion. Solution or corrosion. Solution or corrosion. The process by which rocks are dissolved in water, the process by which the rocks are dissolved in water, process by which the rocks are dissolved in water. आपको पता है which rock अगर prelims में आता है, which rock, basalt या limestone? Limestone. Sedimentary or igneous? More sedimentary. So try to connect this topics if it comes in the preliminary examination. Second is corrosion or abrasion. See the difference. Prelims में बहुत ध्यान से देखना, A है या O है. They generally play the tricks like this. जो पहले स्टेट सर्विसेज में होता था वो आजकल यूपीएससी में भी होता है, that they change the spellings, they change the data. So we had an example even this year. 1500 kilometer square radius of our satellites was made 5000 was there, and they had asked whether it is, that is the whether it is true or right statement. ऐसे एक example है, accelerated irrigation benefit program जो हमारा topic है, it was launched in 1996, जिसमें they have to complete the irrigation, that's half tracked irrigation project, उसको यूपीएससी ने accelerated irrigation benefit program 1992 कर दिया था. बाकी का स्टेटमेंट एज इट इज था. सो जिसको ईयर पता नहीं है उनसे वो गलती हो गई, बिकॉज दे थॉट यस एक्सेलरेटेड इरिगेशन बेनिफिट प्रोग्राम विल बी लाइक दिस. इनडायरेक्टली इस साल बहुत सारी ईयर्स वेर आस्क्ड, दे हैड जस्ट आस्क्ड यू हाउ 4 थिंग्स एंड दे हैड गिवन कि इसमें से कौन सा was first published. Economy also, Air India ka they privatization, disinvestment they had given. So what does it mean? Indirectly, these are factual questions. You can answer them only if you know the facts. Isliye there is no escaping the facts. You should remember the years of some of the specific events. Manrega, you should know the date as well as year. SEZ, you should know 1995. That is 2005 SEZ policy, you should know it by heart. There are some of the major events which you should know. So, be very careful whether the corrosion comes or corrosion comes in the examinations. Corrosion is aberration. It is mechanical grinding. It is mechanical grinding of big rocks, along the bed or sides of the river. Mechanical grinding of big rocks along the beds or sides of the river. Along the beds or sides of the river. There are two types of corrosion or aberration. There are two types of corrosion or aberration. Lateral aberration, sometimes it is also written as lateral erosion. So many times they use the words interchangeably. Lateral erosion or lateral aberration. Lateral means sideways. So it is sideway erosion or erosion of the sides. And what it will give rise to? V-shaped, yeah, this will be eroded from the sides and this will be U-shaped. It gives rise to broad, shallow. Why shallow? इसके बाद समझ में आएगा. U-shaped valleys. It occurs in middle or mature stage. It occurs in the middle or the mature stage. Second is vertical erosion or vertical aberration or vertical corrosion. कहाँ पे होगा dominant? In the youthful stage. Why in the youthful stage? Because carrying capacity of a river. किसका? Sediment का. So, but we are just writing carrying capacity here. You can write load carrying capacity as sediment carrying capacity also. So, load or sediment carrying capacity of river is very high. And this gives rise to narrow, deep V-shaped valleys. Narrow, deep V-shaped valleys. Lateral. Undercutting is sideways. Down cutting is vertical. Vertical erosion is also known as, remember, down cutting. हमने किया है, देखिए antecedent reverse will have more of an vertical erosion. क्यों? Because they are already flowing on a surface. उसके बाद the land is uplifted. Land is uplifted तो उनका speed increases. As उनका speed increases, they start cutting down the valleys, resulting into narrow V-shaped valleys, which are known as gorges or canyons. Third, hydraulic action. Third is the hydraulic action. The process by which river loosens the rock particles and carries them in its flow. Next is attrition. Carries them along with it, ऐसा लिख लो. Next is attrition. The process by which the sediment load or the rocks rub against each other and become small. So what is attrition? The process of rubbing of the rock against each other. See, these are the kind of the questions they can ask you. So what is the answer for this? Attrition, is it associated? Yes. Solution, obviously. Deflation kahin likha hai? No. Abrasion? Yes. So iska answer is A, B and D, because deflation is associated with deserts. So these are kind of simple questions which will come in the examination. फिर डिफरेंस वो हम लिखेंगे अभी. Can I continue? So first, youthful stage, or take down one statement. The landforms are an outcome of. Landforms are an outcome of. No, just one statement. Landforms are an outcome of structure, underline the word structure, comma, process and time. Now can you tell me the meaning of this statement? जो भी लैंडफॉर्म है, कैन आई से इट इज एन आउटकम ऑफ सबसे पहले स्ट्रक्चर कि क्या है रॉक्स, सेकेंड टाइप्स ऑफ द रॉक्स एंड प्रोसेस कि वेदर रिवर इज एक्टिंग or glacier is acting or the desert is acting. Agar river if it is acting, that is whether it is in the youthful stage, it is in the mature stage, या old age, that is nothing but time. So any landform is an outcome of structure, process and time. So next statement, as per the time, we divide the landform into youthful stage, mature or middle course, we divide the landform or the river course, interchangeably use होता है ये. River course is also said to be youthful या landform is said to be youthful. Mature or middle course and old course or old age. Can I say youthful stage in the mountainous region, mature plain region में जिसमें थोड़ा बहुत slope है, and old in the plain region which is very very flat, जहाँ पे there is a change in the direction of a river. So we say the landform is divided into youth, mature and old age. Now youthful stage. See, it is very simple. Youthful stage, take an example. Energy is very high. Because the energy is very high, in your case also energy is very high. So destructive potential is very high. Apply this to the river. River ka destructive potential is very very high. Because energy is very high, you need to channelize it. When you channelize it, you get exercise karke V-shaped. So V-shaped valleys are found in the youthful stage. Mature stage, थकना शुरू हो जाओगे after 35 to the 45-50. V-shaped starts becoming U-shaped. So U-shaped here in the middle age. Why? Because यहाँ पे the work of a river becomes erosion as well as deposition. And old course में only deposition. So human beings also slouch. There is loss of energy. There is no erosion capacity in the river also. This is what is the evolution of human beings, and this is how the evolution of a landform. It is same because the ideas have been taken from the human beings का life stage itself. जैसे human beings pass through the 3 stages of youth, mature and old age. We also pass through the 3 stages. The landform also passed through the 3 stages of youth, mature and old age. This is nothing but an impact of Darwin in geography. But हम GS में इतना सब नहीं लिखते that this is the impact of Darwin in geography. This is youth, mature and old age. Now these people were the followers of Darwin, and therefore they wanted a scientific analysis of a landform. It is more or less true also. In the youthful stage, why structure? Mountains hai, fold mountains hai, therefore energy is very high. Process and time. So young hai, less time, and therefore the landform starts becoming very very flat. River starts eroding. Mature stage में जहाँ पे river just enters the plains and उसके आसपास वाला region. If you want to understand it from the Indian point of view, Haridwar is the mature stage. Why? Because what is Haridwar? What is the significance of Haridwar? Haridwar ka significance is it is the point where river Ganga leaves the Himalayas and enters the great plains of India. That is why I told you any important place anywhere in the world you will find a temple or a place of worship. Because उस ज़माने में we could not think logically. We were used to think that everything is a gift of God. That is why we say कि जहाँ पे science ends, the boundary of science ends, religion starts. जो scientific explanation है उसके there are many things which cannot be explained by science. Climatology में आपको समझ में आएगा what I am saying this. So this is what is the mature stage, and then there is an old age process. What is operating, कैसे river को, and ये process change होता है. How this process changes in this season? As there is increase in the volume of a river, the flow increases and therefore erosion capacity increases. जब river का erosion capacity and flow increases, you call it as floods. So floods में there is death and destruction. Why? Process. हमारे इसमें भी process change होता है. Take an example again. I entered a middle age, so U-shaped body थी, but शादी का रिश्ते आने लग गए, so it got converted into V-shape. So, but after marriage, process khatam. So again it got converted into the U-shaped. So this process, understand this process, by which the old age sometimes get converted into youthful stage, that is what is known as river rejuvenation. River rejuvenation. What? River rejuvenation. Yes. River rejuvenation will occur if there is increase in the velocity of a river. I take these examples so that you understand the basics. So, why river rejuvenation? There has to be some external output. I told you my external output was marriage. External impetus was marriage. क्योंकि had I gone with this and this, तो obviously reject हो जाता. So I had to at least make sure that some things are working properly. So over the period of time, the same things here, when there is an submergence of a drop in the sea level या emergence of a land, जो land ऊपर आ गई, when the land ऊपर आ गई, river भी ऊपर गई, that it is removed from the sea, and when it is removed from the sea, it results into river rejuvenation. So river rejuvenation is a process which occurs in the middle age or old age. It is never a process that occurs in the youthful stage. Understanding this? And then you will have to, how you will have to study? You will have to study the landforms associated with the youthful stage, the landforms associated with the middle age and iska India ka examples, and the landforms associated with the old age and iska world as well as India ka examples. So first, youthful stage. The river flows on the steep slope. The river flows on the steep slopes. As it flows on the steep slopes, the speed of a river is high. Hence, both kinetic energy and the potential energy is very high. Hence, the kinetic energy and the potential energy is very high. Kinetic energy and the potential energy is very high. What do you mean by this statement? Kinetic energy means the velocity of a river. How much load jo eroded hai, how much it can carry. It is carrying high load, so kinetic energy. Potential energy means how much is the capacity of a river to erode. Uska kitna kar sakti hai river. Jo kar rahi hai, that is kinetic. Jitna karne ke chances hai, that is potential. To make it more simple for you, I am asking you that photosynthesis, jo rate hai photosynthesis, how does the photosynthesis occurs? Taking in the sunlight and releasing carbohydrates, that is energy. Then we eat the food to get energy. So what is photosynthesis? Conversion of free energy to kinetic energy or conversion of free energy to potential energy? Light energy we call it as a free energy. Sunlight is a free energy. So that's why free energy into kinetic energy or free energy into potential energy? Potential energy. Had it been kinetic, तो आपको पेड़ के नीचे जाते ही भूख खाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, because energy is already, potential is, therefore you will have to do some kind of work to generate the energy. Now यहाँ पे in the youthful stage उसका erosion capacity भी ज़्यादा है and erosion power भी ज़्यादा है. That is, erosion is also occurring in a large amount and erosion capacity is also very high. Therefore we say potential and the kinetic energy both are very, very high. Understanding this, everyone? Next, the river system. You already also know what is river system. River, tributaries, sub-tributaries, etc. The river system is not well developed, and river flows as a stream, and the river flows as a stream. Stream matlab very thin line of water. River flows as a stream. Ganga, which is so mighty river, if you go at Gangotri, it is just starting as a drop. Godavari, which is a mighty river, if you go at Trimbakeshwar, it starts as a drop. If you Nile, which is the longest river in the world, वो एक spring या झरने में से निकलती है as a drop. Then over the period of time, it becomes so mighty. So that is what is the meaning of this statement. Next, as the carrying capacity of a river is very high, as the carrying capacity of a river is very high, river can carry big rocks, comma, boulders. Boulders means nothing but big rocks. Boulders. अब tell me, in suspension means if this is a river ka channel and if this is a water, will it be carrying them in suspension or will it be carrying them as bed load? Big rocks cannot float, so it will be carrying as a bed load. So boulders as a bed load, रिवर के बेड के ऊपर का लोड, बेड लोड. Full stop. This rocks rub against the river bed, and the eddy currents, just write, I will explain all this, and the eddy currents gives rise to circular motion of the rocks, which results into porthole drilling, कैसे? तो उसको सर्कुलर ही कहेंगे ना. What is vortex and what is circular? Around a central point. What is vortex? Around a central point. Polar vortex, you are going around the poles. It is the same thing. Now understand this, what is the meaning of this statement, and though you have experienced this, इसमें कुछ नहीं, simple physics है. This is a entire river का water, this is a channel. that is the bed of a river या rocks. अब this part of water, because it is touching this, इसकी speed थोड़ी कम होगी due to friction, right? इसकी भी speed थोड़ी कम होगी due to friction, नीचे की भी speed थोड़ी कम होगी due to friction. Now, but the central part of water जो है, there is no friction there, and therefore central part of a water will always flow with great speed as compared to the surrounding part. Due to the change in the speed, there are somewhat eddy currents which are developed in the water. Eddy current means ये part थोड़ा slow जाता है, ये part थोड़ा fast जाता है. So as a result of this, the rocks start moving in a circular manner. Eddy currents. And when the rocks start moving in the circular manner, they start working like drilling machine. When they start working like drilling machine, they will start drilling the holes, जिसको हम कहेंगे portholes. And therefore, I told you, what is lateral erosion? क्यों वो rock thin होते जाएगा? Over the period of time, while it will become sharp, because वो घूमेगा like a drilling machine, and it will start digging the hole. And when it starts digging the hole, this will start getting eroded and sharp, and ultimately this will result into the formation of deep V-shaped valleys. So अगर कल question आता है, V-shaped valleys are formed due to which process? It is due to the porthole drilling. Downward cutting, vertical. So it is not lateral. Lateral बोला आज. So it will result into the vertical erosion and V-shaped valleys, eddy currents के कारण. Eddy currents का real life example, you are walking along the road, जब गाड़ी जाती है, so the air which is touching the roadside, it is moving at much slower speed because buildings है, और जो center का air है road के वाला, that is moving with a greater speed, and as a result जब गाड़ी goes very fast, when the vehicle goes very fast, धूल आके is thrown on the sides. That is nothing but eddy current in action. जो भी center का part है, याद रखना, it will move with greater speed. That is why रास्ते के आसपास कचरा जमा होता है, रास्ता generally साफ होता है, because when the car goes or when the any vehicle goes, पानी side में फेंका जाता है. It is all physics. वो circular नहीं, center से वो circular motion आता है, सर्कुलर मोशन होता है. दैट इज व्हाट इज एडी करंट. हमें नहीं लगता वो सर्कुलर है, वो ऐसे घूम के, नेक्स्ट टाइम स्लो मोशन में देखना पड़ेगा तुम्हें कि धूल कैसे आती है. धूल ऐसे ऊपर से फेंक के घूम के आगे के तरफ आपकी आंखों में जाके आती है. इट नेवर इज थ्रोन इन द अदर साइड्स. और एक आती है टीवीएस टायर एक्सेट्रा की एड, जिसमें वो कहते हैं सियाट टायर्स की या गुडियर टायर्स की, उसमें देखना हाउ द दे हैव शोन दैट इन द हाउ द वाटर इज मूविंग. वाटर इज नेवर थ्रोन डायरेक्टली. वाटर इज always, when it is thrown, it will take a curved path. तो circular ही तो है. अच्छा, I was thinking you are asking. जब भी पानी उड़ता है, next time, stand on the road, wait for a big car to go by. ऐसे सामने खड़े रहना sideways में, आपकी पीठ नहीं भीगेगी, आपका चेहरा भीगेगा. Why? Because वो सामने से आ रहा है. It is always circular. The only thing is, पूरा सर्कल कवर नहीं करेगा because वाटर है, वेट भी है, it will fall down. It is always circular. Eddy currents are always circular. Eddy currents are so powerful in the upper regions that it will start moving the rock. Because it starts moving the rock will start drilling the surface. When it starts drilling the surface, it will start becoming deeper. They will move. Yes. तो इसलिए तो वैली लंबी बनते जाएगी. वैली एक ही जगह थोड़ी बनती है, वैली पूरी लंबी बनती है. पॉट होल ड्रिलिंग इज द प्रोसेस. अगर नहीं समझ में आया तो ये तो नहीं पूछेंगे जीएस में राइट हाउ द पॉट होल ड्रिलिंग, ऑप्शनल भी नहीं पूछते, ये पूछेंगे कहीं जियोलॉजी के एग्जाम में. सिर्फ इतना याद रखना कि वी शेप वैलीज आर फॉर्म ड्यू टू द प्रोसेस ऑफ पॉट होल ड्रिलिंग. बात खत्म. सो दैट इज क्यों, कैसे, नॉट नीडेड. अगर मैं ये बताता भी नहीं तो आप पूछते भी नहीं. दैट इज आई शुड हैव डायरेक्टली टोल्ड कि पॉट होल ड्रिलिंग से वी शेप वैलीज आर फॉर्म्ड. दैट इज व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. So fine with this. So major landforms are major landforms are. First, portholes. First, portholes. These are deep holes. These are deep holes. Found on the bed of a river. Found on the bed of a river. Deep holes found on the bed of a river. Due to which process? Porthole drilling. Due to the porthole drilling. Due to the porthole drilling. Sometimes there are portholes, sometimes the porthole drilling. See, it will all depend upon the intensity of the rock, size of the rocks, chote portholes, localized. You have seen this, just that part of a river, बहुत सारे portholes होंगे अगर आपके rivers के आसपास भंवर आ रहा है. That means नीचे there is an porthole. They ask you not to go inside the circular eddy current, जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं भंवर. That is because नीचे it is always deep. Why it is forming? It is forming because there is an porthole below. That porthole drilling process is acting. You must have seen some photos, the wonders of the world. एक photo है जहाँ पे the समंदर के बीच, there is a big sea and समंदर के बीच ऐसा लगता है किसी ने plug खोला है और पूरा समंदर नीचे जा रहा है. Have you seen that photo? That is nothing but sinkhole, limestone topography. That localized region is a sinkhole. I will show all you these photos. That is once we complete the landforms. Second is very important, that is due to the process of porthole drilling, and heavy bed load, the sediments erode the bed of a river. This gives rise to long, narrow V-shaped valleys, known as gorges and canyons. Continue writing, I will tell you everything. Known as gorges and canyons. An extended form of a gorge, which is generally developed in arid and the semi-arid regions. Having very steep sides. Is known as an canyon. Don't go and buy NCERT ka definition. Usme it is made very complicated. This is the difference between gorge and a canyon. Gorge का ही form है canyon. The only thing is canyon is more deeper. Why it is more deeper? It is more steeper because it is developed in deserts, and because it is developed in deserts, vegetation नहीं है, so there is more erosion, and therefore it is more steep, which is the most famous canyon in the world. Example is the Grand Canyon. कौन सी country? USA. Which river? River Colorado. River Colorado. Open the map of USA. Open. क्या शेप है वो? जीएस के लिए ये सब मत करना, ये सब टिपिकल ना. ये क्या शेप है? व्हाट इज दिस? कॉनकेव. दिस इज कॉनकेव. क्यों बनेगा कॉनकेव? सिंपल है, जैसे नीचे जा रही है तो रॉक्स आर बिकमिंग शार्पर, सो रॉक्स आर बिकमिंग नैरोअर, सो कॉनकेव बनेगा. उसमें गॉर्जेस और कैनियंस कैसे बनेंगे meandering? You are confusing many parts. Don't. Actually problem is you are solving some test जिसमें ये convex concave words आ रहे हैं, but remember one thing, test series के जो questions है, कोई भी test series के, remember you all remember one general rule, जो भी test series के questions हैं वो बनाए जाते हैं difficult so that you can buy them. It has nothing to do with what UPSC will ask. So इसीलिए कभी भी अगर डाउट है तो पास्ट ईयर यूपीएससी के क्वेश्चंस देखो एंड सी द लेवल दे कीप. दे विल नेवर गो सो डीप इन जीएस. अदरवाइज ऑप्शनल्स अगर होता तो आई गिवन यू वेरी प्रॉपर डेफिनेशन थियरीज आल्सो, बट उसकी जीएस में ज़रूरत नहीं है. देयर इज़ नो पॉइंट इन मेकिंग एनी सब्जेक्ट अ मोर डिफिकल्ट सब्जेक्ट. जितना रिक्वायर्ड है एग्जाम ओरिएंटेड उतना ही पढ़ो. अदरवाइज चाहे वो इंटरनेट पे कोई भी वेबसाइट हो, इट के विल व्हाट क्या करना है क्वेश्चंस मुझे अगर आपको बनाना है यहाँ पे, मुझे क्या करना है, एक सविंद्र सिंह लेना है, खुल्लर लेना है, उसमें से 2 लाइन्स उठानी है और आपको क्वेश्चन बना के देना है एंड यू विल गेट इम्प्रेस्ड. बट उससे एग्जामिनेशन को कोई फ़ायदा नहीं होता. एग्जामिनेशन में एनसीईआरटी का लेवल एंड एनसीईआरटी के लेवल के आसपास माई नोट्स आर वेरी सिंपल and they are more than enough for the examination. So this is what is enough. अब what is convex or concave, what is concave, gorges क्या है, canyons में क्या difference है, I shaped valley है या U shaped है या V shaped है, उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं. अगर आपको understand करना है V shape, so you already see why we say it is a convex valley, because it is convex in shape. U shape जब हम बनाते हैं, these are very implicit, will make it U shape. So it is convex or concave from inside, it is concave from inside. This is convex from inside. So that is the basic difference. UPSC will never go. अगर इतना ही होता टेस्ट सीरीज का importance regarding और जितने भी ऑनलाइन टेस्ट चल रहे हैं, so this year people who were doing Insight and IS Baba should have cleared. Why people failed, why the questions failed? Because it does not make any sense to make any question just difficult for the sake of difficulty. It has to have a relevant example. So remember this thing. So first year focus should be NCERTs and then past year UPSC का questions, and then उसके बाद थोड़ा high level का analysis if you require. So you can see in the map of USA, this is what is the region of Grand Canyon, and you can see the region of river Colorado. Now because it is a canyon, so can I ask you, देखो UPSC वो सब नहीं पूछेगी. UPSC will ask you an applied question. UPSC पूछेगा, does river Colorado flow through the regions of deserts? Yes. Why? Because you have studied somewhere that river Colorado is famous for Grand Canyon, and you have studied somewhere that canyon is formed in the regions of deserts. This is application based questions which are coming in the prelims. So remember this canyon wala region, that is river Colorado. The second thing about river Colorado you should know is where it is draining, in the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of California. It is draining into the Gulf of California. So two things for prelims you write down somewhere based on the maps. And can I say, in this region of Grand Canyon we have the deepest point, that is the Death Valley. Death Valley is located in this region itself. So take down some points somewhere in the bracket. River Colorado, which flows through the desert region of USA, What is the name of this desert? In the bracket, Sonoran Desert, or what is known as California Desert, or what is known as Nevada region. So सिर्फ नेवाड़ा याद रखना. अब यूपीएससी पूछेगा सियरा नेवाड़ा, केप नेवाड़ा, ये सब कहाँ है? You know Nevada is where? In USA. So all these landforms are in USA. Nevada is a desert region of USA. You have played a game also, Nevada, Motor Racer. So yeah, NFS में भी Nevada है, and it is a desert region. So this is what is the Nevada region. Sonoran Desert, California Desert and Nevada Desert. Sonoran is nothing but the name of a desert in Mexico. ये हम बाद में फिर से करेंगे. So this is the region from where the river Colorado flows. Next point. It drains into the Gulf of California. Third, it is also famous for Grand Canyon. It is also famous for Death Valley. What is that Death Valley? Why it is the name Death Valley is there? It is very deep. कितना है deep उसका depth? -86 what? Meters, kilometers? Meters. -86 meters. So जैसे नीचे जाते हैं, we have seen in the first lecture कि temperature increases. So as a result, जैसे आप नीचे जाते हो, the temperature increases. यहाँ पे the temperature is so high, plus it is a desert region कि life is not possible, and therefore it is known as an Death Valley. Next example, the deepest gorge in the world. The deepest gorge or canyon in the world. The deepest gorge or canyon in the world is in Himalayas. It is known as Kali Gandaki Gorge. Which is around 27,000 feet deep. It's around 27,000 feet deep. So you should know कि deep. अभी simple एक past year question, ये नेपाल इंडिया बॉर्डर पे है. Simple एक past year question is the deepest part of the world is in North America. True or false? False. Generally, if you do not know this fact, हमें लगता है deepest part is the Grand Canyon. But it cannot be Grand Canyon. वो इसलिए famous है because it is important tourism destination. Kali Gandaki Gorge is so deep कि from the Annapurna peak it is 27,000 or 7,000 meters, 27,000 feet, 7,000 meters, 86 meters कहाँ पे हैं, 7,000 meters कहाँ पे है? You understand that? 7,000 meters river Kali has cut, which is a tributary of river Gandaka, choti river Kali. That is why we say Himalayan rivers are very powerful. Therefore, we say antecedent rivers. 7,000 meters they have cut into the ground. Obviously, you cannot go as a tourist in this region because it is surely a death valley. Mariana Trench is below the sea. Deepest gorge, they had asked, not deepest part, deepest gorge. Next. One UPSC का favorite gorge is, we have done that already, Shipkila. Shipkila is when river Satluj cuts Great Himalayas to enter India. I guess we have told you already this, river Shipkila. Shipkila is nothing but a V-shaped valley, a gorge. Waterfalls. Though waterfall can occur in any stage, the waterfalls can occur in any stage. They are most commonly found in the youthful stage. They are most commonly found in the youthful stage. Due to the differential erosion of hard and the soft rocks. Due to the differential erosion of hard and the soft rocks. Waterfalls of smaller scale or smaller dimensions. Waterfalls of smaller scale or smaller dimensions are known as rapids. While the waterfalls of bigger scale are known as cataracts. Waterfalls of bigger scale are known as cataracts. Rapids and cataracts. So, क्या है rapid? Small waterfall, very very small. Just water is jumping in the rapids, and cataract is very big waterfall. How to distinguish between rapids and cataracts? Anyone has gone for white water rafting, river rafting? That when you do river rafting, that is rapid. Cataract में अगर river rafting करोगे तो Niagara Falls is an example of an cataract. So they will go down. So river rafting is done on rapids. Rapids are very common in Uttarakhand, Himachal. That is a perfect example of Rushikesh also. That is also a perfect example of this white water rafting is rapids. Cataracts matlab hydroelectric power projects, very big waterfalls. It can be Dudhsagar, it can be, for example, that is our Marble Falls, Dhuadhar Falls. It can be example of Jog Falls. All these are big waterfalls. They are cataracts. Now, based on this application, say do questions. Can you tell me, can rivers be used as a means of transportation? Yes. Are we, Government of India, focusing on developing river transport? Yes. Why? Because river is the cheapest means of transportation, especially in the long continents. So which is the longest river in the world? Nile. Nile starts from here and drains right into near the Suez Canal. Fine. जैसे ही ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इंक्रीज होता है, एग्जाम्पल, एक सिंपल इकोनॉमिक्स फैक्ट है ये, दैट इफ अ प्लेस और अ विलेज इज कनेक्टेड बाय अ रोड, ऑल वेदर रोड, उसका जीडीपी, उस प्लेस का जीडीपी इंक्रीजेस बाय 3 टाइम्स. सिंपल फैक्ट है, इफ देयर इज अ रेलवे और रोडवेज कनेक्टेड, तो उसका इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी इंक्रीजेस बिकॉज देयर इज अ मूवमेंट ऑफ द पीपल, मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, देयर इज अ डिफ्यूजन ऑफ इनोवेशन, मूवमेंट ऑफ आइडियाज. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू सी, जैसे ही ग्रेटर नोएडा में मेट्रो विल स्टार्ट, वहां का प्रॉपर्टी रेट्स विल इंक्रीज. सो सिमिलरली रिवर्स कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर गोइंग इनटू द बैकवर्ड रीजन्स, एंड अफ्रीका से ज्यादा बैकवर्ड क्या है यहाँ पे in this. So even though Nile is the longest river in the world, the UPSC will ask you a question, why it is not used for river transport. Uska reason is because on the river Nile, that is how the nature will interfere in development. On the river Nile, there are presence of 5 big cataracts which hamper the use of river Nile for inland navigation. Understanding this? So this is what has come as a question many times. This is what generally students tell you, seniors tell you कि पुरानी 6th, 7th, 8th की NCERT करना. Now this is for the old NCERTs. ये ऐसे छोटे छोटे चीज़ें हैं, but that I will tell you in the class itself. So you take down cataracts. There is only one Nile. There are 2 head streams of Nile. जैसे there is only one Ganga, but Alaknanda and Bhagirathi. So blue Nile and white Nile. So the presence of 5 big cataracts. ये सारे facts prelims के हैं. The presence of 5 big cataracts on the river Nile on river Nile hinder navigation. Second, cataracts are the best sites. किसके लिए? For hydropower production. So, example, in India, Arunachal Pradesh has highest hydroelectric potential. In India, has highest hydroelectric power. Production या potential? Potential. Hydropower potential. क्यों? We'll do it later on in Indian geography. River Brahmaputra comes, Lohit, Dihang, Dibang, all जितनी भी rivers है, they are jumping from Great Himalayas to middle to Shivaliks. क्योंकि you have seen in the northeast, the Himalayas are compressed, they are very near each other, and therefore the state with highest hydroelectric power potential is the Arunachal Pradesh. Potential, not development. We have not yet developed. Development is occurring in the peninsular India. Andhra has the highest hydroelectric power production. Maharashtra second number. Potential is in the North India. I told you yesterday, 20% and 100%. So, blessed by resources, but not developed properly. Niagara is Niagara is an example of cataract, but Niagara is USA and USA is different. Niagara is a very powerful waterfall, but वहाँ से ship can pass through because USA has that technology. A hydroelectric bridge will take up a very big container ship, put it in the upper part. If it is coming, a bridge will take that ship and put it in the lower part, and then ऐसे धीरे धीरे करके it will send it to the sea. That is USA. So this is Africa, India. Potential is very high. Production वहाँ पे एक तो China या USA. So see, imagine this water is falling with a great speed here. This is vertically how the water is falling. Will it erode the base rock? Yes. And because it erodes the base rock, यहाँ पे एक ऐसा depression बनेगा जिसमें you people go, if you go in the waterfall वाला region, you people go and enjoy here. That is what is known as a plunge pool. So take down. At the base of a waterfall, at a base of an waterfall, a depression is formed. Base. Any waterfall will have plunge pool, not just Kamti. At the base of an waterfall, a depression is formed due to continuous erosion by falling water. Such depressions which attract tourists are known as plunge pools. Attract tourists are known as plunge pools. See, he has said Kamti. Kamti is in the news. Where is Kamti? Kamti Falls, newspaper mein. There is a waterfall in Uttarakhand, Mussoorie. Can I continue? You are having one more class after this? River capture. Though river capture can occur in any stage, it most commonly occurs through the process of headward erosion. In the youthful stage. Through the process of headward erosion in the youthful stage. ये हम as a separate topic ही करेंगे, so no need of writing anything. So we'll meet then once your ethics is over. Yes.